So I was working at the dump, and we were living in a one-bedroom apartment. It was a mother-in-law apartment. It was tiny, very, very small. It wasn't even. It was barely big enough for the two of us. It certainly would not have been big enough for the three of us when he was born. And unfortunately, because I think I was making like $11 an hour, which for those of you down south where I live now, those of you who live down here, that's damn good money. I almost make that now at the place I work, at the grocery store I work at now. I think I make. I shouldn't say how much I make at work, especially because there's people that I work with that probably see this, so I probably shouldn't say it. But I make between $10 and $11 an hour. My pay is in that range. So now I'm actually making almost as much as I was before I left. The difference is where I'm from, in the Northeast. If anybody knows anything about the Northeast, the cost of living and the taxes are out fucking outrageous. It is so expensive to live up there, which is a big reason why I live here now. Which I'm getting to. So, as the pregnancy went on, we realized that we weren't doing great financially. We both had cars. We both had car payments. We couldn't afford to pay for both car payments. My grandfather was not the one that passed away, my mother's father. The one that just passed away is my dad's father, and the one grandparent that I have still remaining lives back home, and he was sending me like $100, $200 a week just to help me make ends meet. God bless you, Papa. If you're watching this, I love you, and you're amazing for doing all of that for me. I know I know it's family, and that's what family does, at least our family. But still, I appreciated all of that. And the guiltiest part about it is to a small degree, I'm making a bit of a confession here. Part of the reason that, not the complete reason, but one of the other more minor reasons why we were having issues making ends meet is the fact that, one, as you guys know, I smoke cigarettes. So those aren't cheap, and they are very expensive up there. Here I pay about $5 a pack. There, for the same pack of cigarettes, was $9. So I'm saving $4 a pack just by living here. So there's that. That's just another reason why I have a little more money down here than I did up there. But two, also, I smoked pot then. I smoked a lot of pot. I personally don't feel there's anything wrong with smoking marijuana. But I have an addictive personality, and it was a very stressful time for me, and I probably spent more money on it than I should have. So that's one of the reasons why I was having issues making ends meet. Not only that, but also because I was the only income. So if Katie had been working still, I would have felt less guilty about that. I probably still shouldn't have smoked then, even if she was working. But it was like, okay, I really shouldn't. I really couldn't afford it. But I found ways. I found money. I would return bottles. I would do favors for people. I would figure out ways of getting extra cash so I could afford it. It's borderline drug addiction. It was borderline because generally, a lot of people, you can't really get addicted to pot. You can. It's not a physical addiction. It's more of a mental dependency. It's more habit forming than addictive. Some people can. I've read studies, and apparently 15% of marijuana users are addicted. So, and I don't think that it's so much they're addicted to marijuana. It's more of it's a mental dependency, which is slightly different than an addiction. Because obviously with me, if I went 3 or 4 days without it, I'm not going to be twitching and acting like a fucking crackhead. I mean, I might be a little more irritable, but I'm not going to have physical issues, physical withdrawals. It's just going to be one of those things where I'll just be probably a little more sad, a little more irritable, a little more grumpy because I don't have weed to smoke. And up until that time, I had been smoking marijuana since I was 18. So I'd been pretty much smoking every day for 10 years. So it was it was just a part of my life. It was something that was just another thing. And the thing about it is, Katie didn't mind. She was like, I don't really care. She goes, honestly, there'll have a lot worse things you could do. So, I mean, I don't mind. Plus, apparently she likes the way it smelled. So, anyways. So, we weren't doing well financially. So, my parents, who live here, were like, oh, well, why don't you guys move down here with us? We've got extra space. You got the baby coming. You guys aren't doing well. Why don't you guys plan on moving down here in November? Because he was due in January. So I figured, why don't you guys move down here sometime in November around Katie's birthday? You guys will move down here, get settled for a couple of months. Jordan, you could find a job and And, and then once the baby comes, you'll have us to help you guys out. And then, eventually you can move out and get a place of your own, which was our plan. We thought, okay, that's a really great idea. I wasn't really happy about moving down here because I love Vermont. I mean, that is my home. I still get legitimately sad when I think about it. God, that light is terrible. Oh, fucking Christ. I gotta adjust myself because I just don't like that glare. I mean, even right now, I'm getting sad just thinking about home and how much I miss it. I mean, I have friends on Instagram. I look at pictures that they take of their hiking trips because I love to hike. I love to go out in the woods, and there's all these little creeks and rivers and beaver ponds and stuff out there, and it just... I've said in another video, I don't know if I've posted it or not yet, but I'm going to reference videos that probably aren't even going to be on YouTube, just so you guys know. So if you get confused, just leave a comment and I'll make sure to try to explain it. One of the other ones I did today, I haven't uploaded yet. I don't know if I'm gonna. I was talking about spirituality. And that's a big thing with me. Like when I would go on hikes, that was my spirituality. It's when I felt close to nature, and when I would feel close to like God or the supreme being or whatever you want to do. Because I will touch on what my kind of spiritual beliefs are. They're an amalgamation of a bunch of different religions, so it's kind of weird. But it's kind of cool, but it's also weird at the same time, which is me. I'm cool and I'm weird. Well, I'm probably not cool. I'm probably lame, but I am weird. So that was our plan. So we planned on moving down here. So we got all ready. We sold a bunch of our shit to a auction company. These people I will mention because they are fucking garbage and they are human scum. It is a place called Studio 80. I think they're called Studio 89 in Vermont. They take people's stuff and they fucking rip you off. They take your stuff and they put it up at auction. What they do, everyone that bids, when you say, oh, I bid, you don't say a number. You don't say a price like, oh, $100, $200. No, you just put your hand up and then they add a quarter, $0.25, a quarter to the price. So you get stuff ridiculously cheap. They sent me a printout of what they sold all of my stuff for. I had a Flying Dragon double kick pedal for my drum set that was $325 brand new. It was a few years old, but you could still have gotten at least $200 for it. They sold it for $5. I looked at this, I'm like, these motherfuckers are stupid. They have no fucking clue what they have and no fucking idea how much money they could get for it. So one of two things happened. Either A, they were complete fucking idiots and didn't know what they have, and they sold shit for way under what they could have got for it. I mean, they gave me barely fucking anything for it, so they probably would still make a profit doing it that way. Or two, they actually sold it for what they could get for it, and then gave me a fake fucking printout saying this is what they sold it for. And I think it's probably more of the latter. Don't fucking use these people. Don't trust places like this. I from experience, if you're going to sell stuff, like if you're moving and you need to liquidate stuff, you need to sell stuff, sell it yourself. Don't bring it to an auction company, unless it's a reputable company and people that have been like, oh no, they're really good. Yeah, they'll charge you whatever percentage that they charge, because the auction companies generally do. They will take a percentage of whatever it sells for. Things with cars and expensive stuff could be a considerable amount of money. If you bring in a car to an auction company and you put it in an auction and you sell it for $100,000, they may take $10,000 out of it, or they may take, I think $10,000, that'd be 10% or something. Yeah, they may take 10% or even 1%. They might take $10,000 or $1,000 out of it. So I mean, that's a lot of money. But when it's a large item like that, I mean, it's kind of a drop in the bucket. So anyway, so we sold all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And we'd given our landlords notice, letting them know that we were moving. So my stepfather rented a car, drove up to Vermont, which is 1,700 miles. And it's a 22.5-hour trip if you don't stop. Took us 3 days to get here because we had two cars and stuff, and B, we had a pregnant woman with us, so we weren't going to be doing 24 hours a day. We did 8, and 8 was about the max. We did 8 the first day, 8 the second day, and I think 10 the last day. So that's 26 hours? So it took us a little longer, but I mean, understandably so. So we left, I think it was right around Katie's birthday, which is the 15th, I think, of November. So we left on a Monday, early Monday morning, It was like 7 or 8 o'clock Monday morning. We got here about 7 or 8 o'clock Wednesday night. Our son was born Saturday morning that same week. Yeah. We moved her on a Wednesday, and by Saturday morning, our son was here. Katie had really bad back labor the entire... Okay, I'm at 10 minutes, so I got a few more, but this is going to be 3 videos at the very minimum now. I'm looking. So, we got here on a Wednesday. We were, actually, this may be more, because after he's born, there's still a whole another year and a half of stuff to go through as well. It's going to be a long... This may be one I do in parts, too. Maybe I'll do, like, every week I'll do, like, this may be a series. Maybe I can do a series on this. If you guys want me to do a series about my son, I totally will. That would be... it'd be really cool. I have a lot to talk about. I'm really passionate about it, and I love my son, and I love to talk about him. So that'd definitely be something I'd really like to do in the future. So anyways, so we got down here. Like I said, got here on a Wednesday. Get settled. Katie had back pain the whole way, and but she was also, another side note, she had an overabundance of amniotic fluid. So at 7 months pregnant, she looked like she was 9 months pregnant with twins. I mean, she was huge. At some point, I'd like to try to be able to actually like do a picture or do like a green screen or something to be like, oh, look, this is what she looked like. Also, if you guys want, I have pictures of her. I have a picture of her right like a week before he was, like, there's a picture on her Instagram of her like a week before Gideon was born. It was taken right before we left. So if you guys want to see how big she was, I mean, it's significant. She looks like she's having twins. We actually think she was supposed to have twins, but that's a side note. So she had a lot of bad back pain. So we decided on Friday, we're like, hey, let's go to Chick-fil-A. I had never been to Chick-fil-A. We don't have Chick-fil-A in Vermont. Like, the nearest one's in Massachusetts. Anybody who's from the South knows that Chick-fil-A is a fucking institution down here, and Chick-fil-A is delicious. I love Chick-fil-A. I don't know how I went 27 years of my life without it. So we're like, all right, let's go to Chick-fil-A, get some lunch. So it's like 12:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. We're at lunch, and Katie's like, oh, I got to pee, go in the bathroom. And she goes to use the bathroom, and apparently her urine was very, very dark. Now... that's not a good sign, because she'd been drinking water the whole day. So there's no reason at all why her urine should have been dark. And from what she told me, she said it looked like, she goes, it was dark like I was a drug addict. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, like, people do a lot of drugs and how it's like brown. She goes, yeah, that was my urine. And I'm like, that's not good. So, and we're coming up on the end of this video, but I'm going to get right to the day he's born. So we're going to end up with we're going to end this video with probably labor. And then next video will be delivery and all that whatnot. So we're like, all right, let's call the doctor. She hadn't even had her first meeting with her doctor down here yet. Like, we had one set up, but she wasn't scheduled to have a meeting or have a first appointment with her doctor until I think the following Monday or Tuesday. So it was the following week. The week after he was born was when she was supposed to have her first appointment with the doctor. So we go to the doctor's. We were going to have him at West Florida Hospital, which was closer, which is right in town. Like I said, my earlier videos, we have 3 in the area. We have Sacred Heart, which is the one he was born at, Baptist Medical, and West Florida Hospital. Those are the 3 major hospitals in Pensacola, where I live. I guess I'm just going to tell people where I live now, I guess. I mean, those of you who know me, who watch these, know where I live. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But Pensacola's a big area, so just because I live here doesn't mean you can find me. So please don't stalk me, because I will kill you. I know how to use guns, and I don't have a gun, but I know how to use one, and I also know how to kill people with things other than guns. I've been trained, just saying. Yeah, this is about the end of this video. So, so we get there, and they do a pelvic exam when we get to West Florida, and they're like, oh, you're 6.5 centimeters dilated. You're going to have this baby tonight. And we're like, huh? No, he's not due for 2 months. No, we're not having this baby tonight. This is not happening. We were just like, what? So, this is part 2, where we are at. We just found out that we're having a baby tonight. We'll see you in the next one for the rest of this crazy roller coaster. I'm the Cranky Yankee. We'll have a good one, guys.